Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about an upgrade I am doing to Project Cheapbolt, a new set of tires and wheels. A great way to improve the performance of your trail rig or your crawler is with a nice set of tires. I went with these tires here. These are JConcepts tires. They're called Scorpios. Part number 30757-02. They come in green compound, supposed to be really sticky, and include open cell inserts. Take a look at them out of the package. As you can see right off the bat, they have this really kind of sedate, for lack of a better term, looking tread, but it is real soft and feels pretty sticky. I went with a tread pattern like this because I do a lot of crawling on a lot of dry rocks and a lot of trails, so this tire is getting pretty decent reviews overall, so I figured I'd give it a try and see how she did. Has this really nice grippy sidewall lugs. Little nubs here sticking up, they're nice and flexible. One thing I have noticed about this is whenever you flex the tire, the tread does not roll onto itself. So it's always gripping. So let's hope it stays that way once mounted. They come with these foams, they're kind of oversized foams inside. You can trim them down or add your own favorite foams, but I'm going to give these a try to start with and see how they do. Now, what am I going to mount these on? Well, when it comes to rims, there's a lot of nice rims out there for your crawler, and there's a lot of expensive rims and there's a lot of cheap rims. Pretty much just comes down to choosing what your budget allows and what you want. On this build right here, I went with the more budget approach, so I went with these wheels right here. These are kind of making waves around right now because these are the Vanquish knockoffs. That's what they're being called. There's people out of China making these. I love Vanquish wheels, don't get me wrong, they are awesome, but for this build right here, I just could not justify the money of Vanquish wheels on this build, so I went with these. These were about 50 bucks shipped, took about 2 weeks to get here, and I gotta say though, they are very nice. Are they as nice as a Vanquish wheel? No, not really. I mean, they look the same, and they feel the same, but the finish here is more matte, where the Vanquish wheel is a lot more polished looking. But otherwise, very nice feeling wheel. Comes with a set of hubs, like the Vanquish wheels. I've been told that these right here will bolt up the Vanquish wheels as well. So if nothing else, these are worth the price just for the hubs. Uses 5 screws on the back to hold the bead on. On the front, it goes all the way around the ring. Came with this little bag of hardware right here. That includes the extra screws for the hub, the rear locking ring, and the front ring. Now the question is how well do these actually hold a bead? Well, let's put one together and find out. Here we have the locking ring off, so you can see the face a little bit better, as well as the ring itself. You can see how the holes for the bolt heads are countersunk. And here we have the back ring off. As well as the inner locking ring. Now let's see if we can get a tire to fit on these. These JConcepts are not directional, so it does not matter which side you put them on. And there you have it. I have the JConcepts Scorpios mounted on these knockoff method wheels. They mounted very well. Bead is nice and tight. The way I found the easiest to mount these tires to these rims, and I'm sure this probably applies to other rims like this, was to install all these bolts around the outer ring to the front face first, and then place it in the tire, lock ring in the tire, then place the front face on it, and then flip it over and put the back face on. And since it only has 5 screws, made it a lot easier to put everything in. Sandwiched in nicely, nice and tight. The thing I've noticed about these tires that once I got them mounted is the sidewall is really, really soft. I'm still running the stock oversized foams in it, so I'm sure a different set of foams would make a difference there. But the side is really soft. I'm not sure how well that's going to work out for me. The tread is nice and soft and compresses nicely. And whenever it compresses, it does not roll onto itself. That is nice. Should do very well out there on the trails. Here you can see the JConcepts tire compared to the stock Trepador. It is a little bit taller. As well, it is a little bit wider. I have not vented these tires yet. I will probably do that though with a hot soldering tip, a real small fine one, and just do a hole on each side. And this here is how I vent the tires. I know the rims are vented, but the upside of venting the tires is it gives a place for water to come out, and it'll fling it towards anything else that gets in the rim and tire, it'll fling towards the outside. So I use a soldering iron, real small tip, kind of electronic circuit board tip. And we're just going to go and make a little hole in the tire. We'll make it right here. Just hold it on there, let it melt the hole, move it around a little bit to give you a little hole like that. And then she's done. That's all there is to it. After that hole's done, we'll take the tire and we're going to rotate it 180 degrees. There we go. Then once 180 degrees, let's put a hole on the opposite side. I like to have one on each side. That way the hole is never just facing down. You always have one still up. There we go, that tire is done. Now to do that to the other three tires and we're good to go. And here we see the tires and wheels mounted on the deadbolt. They fit the look of the truck very nicely, complementing it very well. Have a nice aggressive look added to the truck. Here you can see the clearances at the hubs. They clear very nicely. Added just a touch of width to the overall track of the vehicle. Then the next thing I did was for look's sake and look's sake alone is I used the stock Axial Nut cover. I know you can get the scale hubs that act as the wheel nut and they fit these very well. No reason not to get those unless you're just trying to save a buck or two. And this is what I went with these. This is the stock Axial wheel nut that I shaved down to fit in the hole in the middle of this wheel. Take this out here. I'll show you what I mean. Here we see the stock axial piece and then the modified piece. What I did to modify this piece was I used a razor blade to trim off this edge here. And then once I had it trimmed down, I mounted it onto a old RcCrawler wheel stub, mounted in a drill, and used a piece of sandpaper wrapped around a pair of needle noses to sand it down, like this. This is a wheel stub out of a RcCrawler. This piece I had laying around, left over out of some old drive shaft pieces and an old RcCrawler I had. So took this wheel stub and screw the cap onto the end of it like so. You could use just a piece of threaded rod or a screw or whatever you have handy, as long as it fits in the drill. And then took a piece of rough sandpaper and wrapped it around the nose of a pair of pliers. And then turned the drill on and just sanded it down smooth like this until it would fit in the hole. Yes, I know that the little ribs on this look kind of a little rough in a couple places, but that's okay because you don't see those once it is put into the wheel because the hole is that deep. And I just put it in the wheel like so. Tighten it down finger tight like before. And there we go. Adds another little layer of scale realism to it, protects the threads on the axle. I believe that generally just improves the look of the wheel and the overall appearance of the truck as well. In the future, I do wish to get some scale hardware for here. Probably some acorn nuts from Locked Up RC. There you have it. I can't wait to get out and give these tires and rims a good test on the trails. I will post up in the thread on Crawler for this truck about how well they do. As well, I will update the description below. If the weather will just cooperate, we'll get out and give these a good thorough test. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the current updates. And feel free to like this video. Thank you for watching and happy crawling.